What is up, Sneeples? I'm going to be playing at the Calling LA. I'm going to be taking our boy KO. He's done me very well. I feel very good with the deck. I've already made a deck tech video. Go check it out. There's a link here. But if I don't quite make it to day 2, it's okay. I'm not too upset because now I get to play the Battle Hardened, which is a Living Legend event. And I'm going to take our boy Starvo. Yeah, Starvo has been very nice to me. I played him at the coasting event. I've done a deck tech video there as well. But we got a few changes. There's been a reserve list. Is he dead? Is he totally done? I don't think so. Let's get into the deck tech. Alright, here is the man, the myth, the legend, Starvo. We are going to go ahead and break down his deck. Of course, running the Winter's Well, the best hammer in all of Wraith. Pairing that with an Icy Shield as well. Don't need to really go Ramparts here. Looking just to deal damage and inflict as much disruption as possible. And the Frostbite from Stalagmite helps do that, along with the whip as well. Crown of Seeds, one of the best headpieces here in the world of Wraith, along with Fiendl's Spring Tunic. And then a new addition, Gauntlets of Iron Will. Just a slight upgrade really over the Crater's Fist, but we are going to take any upgrade we can. Civic Steps, and then our deck. So let's get into it. Those are the basic equipments, your solid equipments that probably every Starvo is going to run. We do have sideboard equipments we'll get into, but let's get into the meat and bones. Crippling Crush, yeah, we can only run one now, right? Like one Crippling Crush, none more than that. It's on the reserve list. So we are going to make do with just a one. And speaking of just reserved list, Oakenold, again, just a one of. So Crippling Crush and Oakenold are the ones that got hit, but we have some replacements. Let's get into the first one, and it's a Concuss. So what's kind of cool about this card is that we're going to be running 3 to help, like, you know, boost up the numbers of the missing Oakenold and Crippling Crush. Concuss has the ability that if it has greater power on hit, you have your opponent discard a card. With Starvo's ability adding +2, then this Concuss can come in for an 8, a 3 for 8 that makes him discard a card. It's just really good value, even though it may not be your Crippling or your Oakenold. This is a little bit actually easier to get off, and so therefore, it could even be better in some situations when you're a little bit resource deprived in your hand. So Concuss is going to be our first replacements for these cards. We only have 3 Concusses, so we need one more card, and that is Dump. We've had Dump for a while now. I mean, it came out in Aria just as well. And it's just basically like Concuss. It also has them discard a card if it has greater power and stuff. It also gains Dominate. This one costs 4 for 6, where this is a 3 for 6. That's why we have the 3 Concuss and only 1 Dump. But regardless, I think this card is very, very good. And this is my replacement for the Oakenold, basically. Alright, so there's 4 replacements for the 4 cards that we are missing here. So that helps that. Now Starstruck, another card that got hit off the initial reserving. So Starstruck we can only run 1 of. So what's the next best option? We have Crush the Weak. Ultimately, Starstruck was really only good against heroes that had low power attacks. And Crush the Weak does that same thing. If on Crush, they can't attack with attacks that have 3 or less base power. So this can still be very effective against like a Chain deck and some Briar decks out there, some Phi decks. So Crush the Weak doing essentially the same thing as Starstruck. Alright, Pulverize did not get hit, so we are going to be running 2 Pulverizes, hoping to get big attacks in for 16 Dominate. Always very, very cool. Spinal Crush, again, did not get hit, so we of course are running 3 of these. These are good attacks that have great disruption on them. And then Awakening. Awakening did get hit. This card is insane. I would have been fine if only this card got hit, but of course other cards had to get hit, I suppose. So instead of our second Awakening, because we only ran 2 originally, we're going to run a Pummel. We got our 1-up Pummel. Just like Awakening, it can be a tempo changer, so that's what we're hoping to look to do here with that. Alright, getting into the elementals. We, of course, are running all 3 pulses. These are just such good cards. Pulse of Eisenloft, being able to pair that with your hammer or Oakenol or what have you, just giving that +4. Pulse of Candlehold, stacking your deck, almost acts as a remembrance. And then Eisenloft is a good, I think I said Eisenloft, it doesn't, this is Volt Haven. Eisenloft is a good way to be a last minute D-React. Alright, now looking at the Earth cards, we have Autumn's Touch. This is a Rainbow 9 here. We are not going to run anything less. This card is Earth. It blocks 3. It pitches. Well, I mean, it pitches like it pitches, I guess. But it's just a very solid card. It does work with Starvo's ability, even the blues, right? So that, you know, if we don't have one of these other cards to come in with, we can come in with an Autumn's Touch with +2 Dominate, go again. So that's always nice. That's why we run this card, a very, very good card, running 9 of. Break Ground, we are only running the blues. This one does not block for 3, so we're not as huge into it. Has a little bit of Arsenal synergy. If you have an Arsenal, you can kind of change it out. But, you know, nothing too fancy. Just a nice little Earth pitch. Evergreen the same way. This one can come back, so if it's going to be a very, very grindy game, you can always try to play this from the Arsenal so they can come back to your library, or to your deck, I should say. Okay, now to the ice cards. The ice cards did get hit in this reserving. The first and foremost being Channel Lake Frigid, so we can only run 1 Channel Lake Frigid, unfortunately. So these cards are a lot harder to replace. Not a lot of things do what Channel Lake Frigid has done, but we're gonna do our best here. And what we have is Ice Quake. A lot of Starvo decks we're running Ice Quake to begin with. This just allows for a Frostbite on their turn. If you can get 2 attacks in with this, there's 2 Frostbites. That's essentially kind of like a Channel Lake Frigid as far as the taxing goes. That's the idea behind it. Obviously, it doesn't block for 3, just not near the same power level, but, you know, a fine replacement at least. Hypothermia, another card that just looks to shut down decks that have a lot of go again, or that have their attacks gain go again. This is talking about Chain, this is talking about Briar. Yeah, this is a great card to shut all that down. We can only have 1 of, so we are going to have to just look for replacements. This one's a lot harder. One card we have is Icy Encounter. This is just because it's something that can just put out a Frostbite counter. You're probably pitching it for the winner as well, but if you ever had to attack with it, because we do have a pummel in here, you could pummel it. So, you know, just something. There's not a lot to replace this card. This card's really good, so we're kind of, you know, scraping into the barrel here. But one thing we do have is a Blizzard. Originally we were running only 2 Blizzards. This card doesn't block, so we don't really want too many, but with the lack of Hypothermia, we are up to 3 Blizzards now. Blizzard does do something very similar to Hypothermia, which shut down go again decks. So we do have it at 3 of, and I do feel very good with that. I think this is a pretty close you know, replacement to Hypothermia, but just, yeah, unfortunately we had to find something else. All right, Winner's Bite. We're back to normal here. Running 3 Winner's Bites. A good card. Sometimes you just have that extra card and you can just Winner's Bite them. Always good. Take blocks out of their hand. Winter's Grass. This is our blue block 3 ice card, so that's what we like about it. And yeah, that's why we run it. All right, now on to Lightning. Just like with Earth, nothing got hit here, so we got free reigns here. So everything looks about the same as the last time. We have the 3 Heaven's Claws, blocks 3, as you can imagine. We like that. Flash. You know, if Starvo doesn't trigger, we can make Starvo at home here with Flash. So, you know, a way to give our big attacks go again. Lightning Strike, great card to have in the arsenal. You know, even if it is just 2 damage, sometimes in the late game, 2 damage is a lot. Also, you know, when it comes to like clearing out dragons, or, you know, just needing to deal some damage to face and then to clear out an aura from Prism, you know, Lightning Strike lets us do that. So we like Lightning Strike for that reason. Blink, a way to gain some action points, a way to swing into some auras and then gain some action points afterwards. Gotta like that. We love to be able to do our thing and not be slowed down by pesky auras. And then Shock Charmers, you know, just a basic solid card. That's really all it is. You know, you gotta have enough lightning to kind of get an even mixture, and that's what Shock Charmers allows us to do. Okay, we got our tokens. These are the 3 tokens we make. Frostbite's the big one. You like to see that on their side of the board. Quicken is, you know, just kind of same as Seismic Surge. You're probably not going to see this too many times, but it's good to have it just in case. You never know. All right, onward to the sideboard down. So we start off with Shock Charmers. This is definitely for Kano. Spell Void 2, we only rock an AB1, as you can see here with the Northern Boots. So having Spell Void 2 plus AB1 plus Crown, we can stop an Aether Wildfire. But ultimately, we're just going to try to pressure Kano as fast as possible so they have no sort of setup. And so having Spell Void is good when you are trying to pressure him. Okay. As mentioned, we only have AB1, so we only have Northern Boots. I would go ahead and bring this in against Kano, of course, but also against decks like Viscerai. Viscerai is going to do a lot of Rune Chance, so you want to make sure to have at least AB1 there. And then Time Skippers we have for Prism. I'm very curious where Prism, how many the numbers are going to lie. You know, she was very good in Starvo. I kind of think Starvo is going to take a little bit of a dip despite me playing it. But yeah, I'm very curious with how many Prism decks we'll end up seeing. If we see a lot, then Time Skipper is going to be a card that is needed to wipe out multiple auras, as that is what they're going to look to do to us. Speaking of Prism, that is why we run 2 red Lightning Surges. Just a way to pressure and damage, take away any sort of Spectral Shield, to allow us to follow up to Hammer and Aura. And that's what Lightning Surge lets us do here. So this is what we bring this in for. A very good card. Okay, now we are looking at the Mirrors, or any big attack decks, really. You know, maybe we'll see Azalea. I kind of doubt it, but who knows. But that is what Staunch Response is for. It's for the big attacks. Hell, you could even play this against Prism, as they will cover Herald up pretty damn nice. Unless you have one resource available to Crown of Seeds just as well. So Staunch Response works very, very well, especially with a Crown of Seeds deck. And it is there to cover big attacks. And if it's even bigger, like if you're going against Mirror and they dominate it, well, you can play a little extra to give it +3 more. So not too shabby. Turn Timbered, same line of thought here. It's just another way to block big attacks. So Starvo was the most popular deck in the last format before the reserving. It still might be, so I want to make sure I have a sideboard ready for him. Alright, Warmonger's Diplomacy, a card that has been hit, unfortunately, because this is how we were able to keep the Chains and the Briars at bay. This card is very, very good against them. We are obviously still going to be playing the one that we can play, and just hope that we get it in that matchup. And then finally, 2 more lead charges. I didn't have this in before, but since we can't play Warmonger's Diplomacy, I have these in here now. They are just a little bit more Prism tech. Prism was really our only bad matchup, so I'm okay with having a little bit more tech into her. Alright, that is the deck tech for Starvo. Yeah, I've played this deck before. It's such a fun deck. And I'm excited to play. Hopefully I won't have to. Hopefully I'm day 2 in the calling. But, you know, if worse comes to worse and I play Starvo, that's okay. I'm having fun at least. So, thanks for watching, guys. Keep on fabbing. Catch you next time.